Okay, so the diary entry for this week, the vlog entry, shall I say? Um, I missed my second one last week. I was going to do another one last week, but there wasn't really much to say. There isn't much to say this week, besides the fact that I am feeling much, much more confident about the performance. Well, that not perform. I keep saying performance. It's a recording, but I'm feeling much more confident about it. In general, the parts of the song that I've learned are playing smoothly. Again, the only real worry that I have is the solo. Um, I am still, as of like today, still using the playback speed feature on YouTube to slow it down so that I'm comfortable with the notes and hitting them accurately before I introduce speed into the equation. Um, it is not an easy task. Yeah, it's crunch time. We're getting awfully close to the recording, and I am still not 100% with the solo. I don't know if I will ever be 100% with the solo, but I need to be, I need to be a high enough percent that I can play it well and consistently. If, I mean, I don't know if that is going to be the case, but actually not fingers crossed, because that means I'm relying on luck. But yeah, it's something, man. It's something. So this week, so not just this rehearsal, but this week in general, I've been listening to the song on repeat. I've been listening to it in the shower. I've been listening to it walking to and from college. I've been listening to it just non-stop. It is living in my head rent-free. But that is all for the sake of familiarizing myself with the song. I want to be able to sing and play and hear this song in my sleep, because it's going to give me the best chance of performing it well when it comes to the actual recording. Um, and yeah, I think it's gonna be epic. Um, Also, in other news, because I don't have much to talk about with the Lady A song, I am going to talk slightly about um, Blueberry Hill in this vlog, because we are doing Blueberry Hill as our group song, and I am also stressed out with that song. Um, so I Tone is easy. It's just a little like bluesy, clean but fuzzy tone, quite punchy bass. Um, so tone easy. Got that figured out before we even got the song. I'm kidding, but it wasn't difficult to replicate whatsoever. Now, what is difficult is the fact that I have to somewhat improvise. Not really, but somewhat. I'm gonna try and take licks from the live version that we were given as an example. I'm gonna take some of those licks and play them over the studio version backing track, because obviously it's a different rendition of Blueberry Hill. Now, what is difficult about that is they are in two different keys, which we discovered um, in our group rehearsal. The songs are in two different keys, so all of the licks that I learn in, what key did I learn them in? E something, maybe? I'm not sure. Basically, I learned them in the key of the cover. The key of the cover happens to be different to the key of the original backing track. So when I tried to play them over the original backing track, it's no surprise that it sounded way off. Um, Then I had a bit of a panic because I was like, well, they're the same licks. I'm not playing them wrong. And yeah, so then I went into full panic mode. We played the song a couple times. I was freaking out. I was trying to make stuff up on the spot so that I didn't seem unprepared. That made me seem even more unprepared because I was sort of just guessing randomly what notes would sound good. And, maybe 85% of the time those notes did sound good and the licks I played did sound good. And then 15% of the time they sounded really, unsure, which is even worse. The fact that it didn't sound confident is probably a bigger way of shooting myself in the foot. But yeah, so learned the song roughly. Then I asked Michael if he would help me learn some of the chords. This way I can do both. I can do a bit of both. I can relax sometimes and play the chords and not have to worry about coming up with little licks and playing them. And then also, whenever I feel like it, I can drop out from playing the chords because Michael covers the chords. I can drop out from supporting Michael and I can play licks here and there, which is very bluesy. And so it fits the style perfectly, which is very good. Also, it was much easier to do it this way because every time I looked up chords, I was getting chords in vastly different keys. There's so many different renditions of this song, and so every time I looked up chords, it was in a different key to the key that our backing track was in, which was then difficult. So in the end, I asked Michael to play the individual notes. I then found the individual notes and played them, and we ended up coming up with chords. And I think that was a good way of doing it because it was simple, it saved everyone a headache, and it was where better to learn the chords from than somebody who knows them in person. There's not much of a better place because clearly they're right because he's playing them over the top of the song, so they have to be the correct chords. And so yeah, I think it just worked really well to sort of fill in the gaps in my knowledge of what was going on. And yeah, so I'm feeling a little better about Blueberry Hill now, following like the previous two rehearsals, but it's still very stressful, and there's a lot of work to do before it's gonna be fine. And then on top of that, I've got Lady A to worry about playing, and so there's just so many different factors, so many different things that all have lined up to just make all of this stressful. And so the fact that I'm staying somewhat organized is actually really helping me because it's not adding any unnecessary stress to me, which is important because I don't want to get to the day of recording and just have a breakdown where I'm like, yeah, I'm struggling. I can't do this. It's too much. And so yeah, it's all going well so far, thankfully. Anyway, that is it for today's vlog. And yes, I might actually be done with vlogs for Lady A because I don't really know what else I can talk about. And I don't know if it's any good to retrospectively look back on my recordings, so I mean, maybe on the day I'll just take notes of how the recording went and then see what I think after, or maybe record a quick voice note just summarising how I felt about the performance or whatever, just in case I need to rehash that. But yeah, I think I might be done with the Lady A vlogs for now because I can't think of anything pressing, and Blueberry Hill is sort of all bases covered, but we still need to paint over some little things here and there. But anyway, vlog over.